Morning, Pete, North Las Vegas. Back here taking a look at these LR308s, these DPMS patterns. The last video I was talking about how I was having some issues with this rifle here, cycling issues. It was mainly short stroking and not holding back on the last round. In the last video I talked about how I inspected the kind of gas area looking for leaks. I didn't see anything visually. When I was out at the range, I had to turn the gas all the way up into range 2, 2 or 3 settings to get it to cycle. But it still was not holding back on the last round. And in that last video, I talked about how this Odin works. When I pulled on a charging handle, I was having to put a lot of force and effort to unlock this bolt to pull it out of battery. And this is the used Wilson Combat that came out of the rifle that I was not having any problems with. So what I'm doing here this morning is I'm taking a close look at all 3 of these bolt carriers. This is the one that I think was causing me the problems. These both have the same round count, about 100 rounds, and this is a brand new one. So I thought we would take a look at everything and compare it to a brand new one. I'm making measurements in different places and trying to make a determination if maybe I have an issue there. I don't have enough pins and measurement tools to like blueprint these things 100%, but I'm hoping to find some issues. So right now, my first set of numbers, Odin Works 100 rounds, WC 100 rounds, and WC brand new. So what I did was, the first thing I'm measuring is from front to back, the length of the lugs. And I measured them 3 times, and if I came up with the same number twice, then that's the number I decided on. So far on the Odin Works, front to back, you can see the difference in numbers. And what does all this mean in the end? I don't know. But I'll do some close-ups right now on the lugs so you can see the difference between the Odin Works used 100 rounds, WC used 100 rounds, and brand new. Okay, so this is the Odin Works, and you can see how the edge here is getting peened and hammered. That's not just, wear from the nitride. That metal is actually starting to deform. And you can see right here, there's an edge. And I think this is what was causing the unlocking issue. It was just causing a lot of friction on the barrel extension. And some of them are worse than others. That one doesn't look too bad. You can tell it's getting hammered a little bit, but that's probably the worst one. That one's not looking too good. Okay, let's take a look at the used WC. It also has about 100 rounds on it. Okay, so this is the WC. Has about the same round count. And you can see a little bit of metal movement, but for the most part, it's just the nitride is kind of wearing off. Whoop, sorry about that. Now we'll look at a brand new WC. Okay, so this is a brand new WC. I've just maybe manually racked it in the rifle maybe 15 or 20 times. So this has not actually been fired yet. So what I'm going to do now is measure across the lugs, the opposing lugs, and see what kind of numbers we come up with between the Odin Works, the used WC, and the brand new WC. And then we'll take a look at those numbers. Okay, so here's how I'll be doing the next set of measurements. And like I said, all these measurements and what I'm coming up with and the numbers between the different bolt carrier groups, like I said, I don't know if any of this is going to add up to squat, but maybe I'll find something egregious, something that's just way out. Across the lugs, the Odin Works came in about 2 thousandths smaller than the WCs. So pushing the bolt in and out, it seemed like it was camming very smooth. I did take a look at it with a magnifying glass, and I couldn't find anything wrong with the track. There's no burrs or anything that should cause a problem. I'm going to measure the cam pins now and see if there's any difference in those. Although I know that's not the problem, I'm just making this measurement for comparison. So about 371 on the Odin works. And I'm measuring down here towards the bottom where it rides in the cam slot channel. So we'll measure them all in the same spot. They all came in about the same. We'll make sure nothing weird's going on with the firing pin, although I'm just about 99.9% sure there wouldn't be. And there's no hang-ups. Not measuring that, but the protrusion looks about right. So that's the Odin works. Use WC. Brand new one. Okay, so nothing hanging up there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure across the bolt bearing surface. You can see that little ring there. This one right here. My finger's touching. We'll measure that and see what if there's any differences between the bolts. Those all came in the same, 0.661. Measuring bolt length, just out of curiosity to see if they all come in about the same. That's the Odin works we're looking at right now. Brand new WC came in quite a bit shorter, or maybe that's the one that's right. I don't know. Took a look down all the bores. They look nice. I mean, none of them even had any signs of nitride wear. They're all very smooth, no defects. So the inside of these bores are all looking pretty good. The correct way to measure inside these bores is with a gauge pin set. I don't have any pins big enough to measure this. And even if I did, I don't know what the measurement is. I'm just going to use some calipers and measure the ID and just compare them. Had to go dig my digital out. It goes to 8 inches. This only goes to 6. So I just wanted to compare the length of the bolt carriers. There's the length. Odin works, WC used, WC brand new. My Odin works and both the WCs come with 2 O-rings, a large spring and a small inner spring. And the reason I'm mentioning all this is that small inner spring right there can fall out. So when you take your extractor off the bolt, watch out for that. And when you get ready to put your extractor back on the bolt, if that inner spring is missing, you lost it. Normally they just fall right out. I think because this has some oil on it, starting to come out. But if that was dry, it would pop right out. But anyway, yeah. So like I said, watch out for that spring right there. It will fall out. The only numbers that were significantly different between the bolts were measuring front to back this way on the lugs, and then measuring all the way across from one side to the other on the lugs. I don't think these numbers would matter that much. I think if anything was going to contribute to the back of these lugs getting hammered on the barrel extension, it might be these numbers. This is all guesswork on my part. I'm thinking that maybe because these lugs were a little bit shorter this way, even though it went in the battery and it had space fine, that there was still enough slop in the length of these lugs that when the rifle fired, it was maybe causing these lugs to get hammered into the barrel extension a little bit. But I'm kind of back to my original assessment in the last video I did on this. I think the issue is there's something going on with the heat treat or the case hardening, the nitriding on these lugs that was causing the peening and the actual metal deformation and causing this thing to wear like way too soon. Like I was saying at the beginning of the video, this has about 100 rounds on it. This WC has about 100 rounds on it, and then there's the new one. So I don't know if we've stumbled onto the problem or not, but anyway, I'm going to get the new WC back into this rifle here, and we'll get this thing out to the range real soon and see if all our cycling issues go away. And then if they do, and I don't have any more issues after X number of rounds, then yeah, I'm just going to say, you know, I ended up with a bad bolt. Pete, North Las Vegas. Over and out.